I'm not at my normal setup, but I'm going to try and do the review. Feeling a little bit better today. So yeah, I heard you were playing Caitlyn, and you got a Sona support. You've got a really, really dominant lane. Melee supports this patch, especially stuff like Braum or Tahm Kench. They don't have a whole lot of things. They're really useless in lane. You should be able to do a whole lot in lane. Jinx doesn't even have a whole good laning phase. You should take first tower. And whenever you start looking into jungles, right? Ornn doesn't have very strong ganks, nor does Kayn per se, but you should be able to get away from most ganks too. Lux doesn't roam. All of this means you should have free reign bot lane. Now, if you look at their ability to counter siege, their Garen and their Lux, both of those don't have excellent wave clear. Lux is a little bit better, but she can't clear the ranged creeps without auto-attacking. And the melee creeps, it still takes her a while. So she's going to not be able to wave clear you if you rotate mid-game. Zoe's going to be good with poke, and your Malphite's going to set you up for good engages. So during those rotations, you have a lot to work with. You have an excellent team comp to be playing into this. You have a lot of things to work with and a lot of advantages. If you're going to be sitting on tower, ward this, because this window that you're giving them to invade here is totally unnecessary. They really don't need this. I wouldn't go to cheese them either this lane because the Braum stun early is really strong. You might just put a trap in here and try and get free autos, but I would still be looking to get the push off. So maybe you Q and Sona Qs and you get a little bit of damage, but I wouldn't look for an all-in cheese there. Again, this is bad. Always try and defend your buffs. And Sona is not AFK, she's spamming emotes over here, so there's no reason to be on this turret. You've gotten a lot better at poking like that. You get that third auto? Excellent. That was very worth. I would have gone for the Jinx in that. Now that you've gotten all this damage already on the Jinx, you should just be looking to press it even more. Screw the Braum. I mean, those are good autos on him. You are giving up CS here, though. Let's watch this whole thing again. So you miss one there to auto the Braum, right? So I told you what you're looking for is your windows to auto attack them. I still would have gone for this one, but it's whenever you don't have minions to auto attack. And you give up probably 4 CS in your aggression here. But that was a perfect one. That's exactly what you want to look for. And you could even go for the second one here, right? And now you go for the minion. Or you can go auto her, because, again, the third auto is worth. You get that extra damage with the press the attack. You still don't have any minions up, so you're going for Jinx here. There's no reason to not go for Jinx. She just was marked by you. The headshot would have done extra damage, and the targets were both right next to you. That means you're prioritizing who you think is going to come closer, but not who is actually within range. You could really push the Jinx off this wave. And then this minion, do you get that? Yeah, you do. Which one were the ones you missed? You missed that one? Yeah, you go for the auto attack on the Braum. You should be thinking more about CS. That one was a good one. And now this is a good one. But now you're looking at your... Okay, that was a good one too. I would say probably 80% of your autos for harassing are good, but the other 20% you're overdoing it. You do have a really strong lane, and you are definitely taking advantage of that, but you don't want to be losing CS to trade like this, because if you look at this, right, and you count the minions, right, so they have an extra 3 minions in this wave, and your CS lead was 3. So all of this harass, if you don't get anything from it, there's no point. And you missed 2 or 3 CS. Those 2 or 3 CS was the lead you were developing by playing aggressive, but you were losing that to play aggressive. Now, yes, they're in a better position to get ganked, right, whenever this guy comes down, but in that case, you need to be letting the wave come out, which means you need to bounce this really fast. And you're not pushing. Well, you are, but passively. You're not actively pushing with like your Q and stuff. You're not actively sieging. You're not looking to play to this gank. So right now what you're doing is you're overlooking for aggression and losing every bit of this lead that you're trying to create for yourself. Because they're not going to be in a position to get ganked because you're slow pushing this, and he's not going to be around whenever he gets down here. It's not going to be bounced. It's because it's going to get frozen right here if they manage it correctly. Which they are. And you see how she's already back to like half life? This is an example of why over-aggression doesn't really do anything. If you're playing really aggressive, you need to get something from it. And what you're getting from this is, at this point, no tower damage, a little bit of kill pressure, but you're not setting up for an easy gank because they still have heal and exhaust. Or no, double heal? Okay, weird. But this guy can't gank for you because you're under the tower. So the only way you get these kills is if they just overstep and Sona autos and you auto. But it's going to be on their tower now, which means you should get tower damage. Tower damage? Excellent. Okay, and then they overstepped. That was stupid of them. But now you've capitalized on your aggression because you were able to get that kill. Realistically, though, you should not have been able to get that kill. That was their misplay more than a correct play from you guys. And you can't rely on that. Alright, you just got their sums. This is a cannon wave. You need to make sure... Okay. Get that in? You don't need to worry about poking, because you need it back here. Overstaying. Because now the Jinx comes back with some items. She got shoes and pots. Okay, I guess she didn't have enough for anything. But the lead that you get, this is something that I always like talking about. If you never recall, then the only lead you have is XP. And if they only miss a wave, for part of the game, they will still be the same level as you. They're going to hit 6 after you, sure, but your level 6 isn't exactly a huge spike. Sona's level 6 is pretty big, but yours isn't. So if you're staying here and you don't chop, the only advantage you have is your level. And you see, Braum's level 4, so you don't have an advantage on the Braum, and he's already died once. So what makes you think that you're going to... Look, level 4. Now this lane is even. Because you overstay, and now this lane is even. If they didn't have this damage done, the Ornn loops around like this. Sure, they don't have sums, but they do have a Braum with flash still. They could auto flash and, guarantee a stun. That guarantees an Ornn knockup. That guarantees a Jinx trap. You are dead, 100%. Doesn't matter if you have heal. Doesn't matter if you have exhaust. If they get that slow off, that's all they need to kill you through your flash, through everything. So this overstaying is something that you really should be cautious of. I don't know how much money you had exactly, but considering that you got first blood, I think you got first blood. No, yeah, you got first blood. That's like 500 gold plus your creep score here, which is 30. Probably was like 25 at the time. 25 times 20. I don't know. I don't think you would have had enough, actually. You probably had like 1,000 there. Because you do want to go back for your BF. But in that case, you need to be extra cautious of where the wave is, right? So let's go back and let's... By the way, I really lazily did that math. I don't know if it's right or not. But you see what you're playing like right here? you know the Ornn still he just left. He just left. You know you're not going to get the Kayn to come back because he's low. So where this wave is right now, Jinx is full health. This guy is at half-life, but you know he's got his shield, so it's a surprising amount of health. This is really risky positioning to continue to push like this. I would have waited or gotten a ward because you don't know where the Ornn is, and you know where your jungler is, and he's nowhere near you. This is risky. Now you see the Ornn mid, so you should siege. Now you see the Ornn coming bottom, and you don't respect that. You walk towards him. Wow. You're drawing a lot of worthless jungle pressure. Their jungler isn't even trying to gank you. He's just here so the Jinx can farm. That's really awkward. Again, this is total misplay by them. This isn't really something that you can count on. Because these ganks that he just did, he just sits in your lane for a while and just sucks up XP. That's not good at all. And then he just dies. Yeah, that's stupid. And now you just siege again. Lux is missing, but I don't think that you'll die to a Lux. Ulting for pressure. I would have kept your mana because you don't have enough mana to net now. Lux is bottom because she was missing. You turn on the Jinx. Yeah. I would have turned on the Jinx here. And you want to know why? Okay, so the Lux just cut you off over here, right? Braum is not level 6. The only thing Braum has is his auto attacks, his Q, and his shield, right? The only things Lux has is her bind, which is a linear skill shot, and her other shit, right? And the start of this gank, she uses some of it. And you still are running to tower. See, look, she's already used one of her abilities. The only thing she has left is her snare. And if you are just walking back, you're going to walk straight into it. Do you see the Jinx over here? They don't have heal on Jinx. They don't have flash on Jinx. She's like got a quarter life. Both of you turn onto the Jinx. And then Lux only has, you know, one spell right now, essentially. Right? Her Q. If she ults, you should be able to dodge that if you're over here. The Braum already missed his stuff, and for some reason, you decide you still need to go up. In that one video I had where I was playing Ahri mid, and I was talking about how I avoided that gank, I didn't walk straight back to turret because that's not always the right move. Right here, you had every reason to turn on this manaless, sumless Jinx with less than half life, right? It's a Q auto from Sona and an auto with your net to get closer to her, like 2 autos, and she's dead. Right? Really close to dying. And you go walk this way. So you're walking potentially into the snare, which he then misses. You then you use your net to get closer to them. So now Braum can auto attack you, which means he's going to be able to stun you potentially. And because you used all of your mana earlier, you only can put down 1 trap because you decided to auto attack. Sona's deciding she's going to use her mana instead of damage, which you could have used to turn, to speed you guys up because now you've just committed to running away. And do you see all the extra damage they get out because of this? They get off Braum autos, they get off Jinx autos, they get off Lux ult because they're just walking away in a straight line. This was a fight you could have committed to, and this is a problem you admit you have where you just are way too passive. Now your laning phase has gotten much more aggressive, which is an improvement. But you still don't know when to pick fights. This was a very easy fight. Let's see. How much money did you go with? So in this game, my personal preference would be, instead of going for this zeal item, to be getting shoes. And that's because the importance of dodging in this game is you need to be able to outrun a Garen who's already gotten shoes. You need to be able to dodge Lux's shit, right? Which you should be able to do. Most of, like, her Q is linear, her ult is linear. You can dodge those. Her E is just free damage. Jinx, you need to be able to pressure her harass, or pressure to harass her, right? If you have shoes, she can't walk away from you fast enough. Braum, if you have shoes, he's never going to be able to get to you to auto you, right? All of these things are pretty dodgeable, is what I'm saying. And whenever you have movement speed, it becomes easier to dodge. The Jinx is the one that isn't really dodging, but that's pressing your lead. And you're still getting attack speed, and crits are unreliable. At this point in the game, crits are unreliable. Your first crit item, like this Zeal, doesn't give you enough crit to say, I'm going to all-in someone. But movement speed gives you the ability to say, I'm going to all-in someone, because you can chase them down. You see Ornn mid, Ornn ulted. Okay. So you know that the Ornn just ulted, he just fought a couple people, and you just see the Braum over here, and the Ornn. You're looking really aggressively for these plays. For some reason, whenever you see people coming down, you always look to fight these people. And again, that's not you playing correctly in these situations, that's them misplaying. This is not a smart move to be looking for this, really, because Braum has flash and he has an auto attack. That's all he needs to kill you, really. And that's all you need to throw this lane. This is just awkward. Sona's really strong this patch. Good dodge. Unnecessary Sona ult. Unnecessary Braum ult. So something else that I'm kind of noticing is you don't use your traps to siege very much. Traps are how you can take advantage of Caitlyn's abusive siege. In situations like this, you put down like maybe one trap. Maybe? Do you even put down a trap here? I think you do. Yeah, you put down the sneaky trap, but you don't put down any zoning traps. If you want to take this tower, and you see where this guy is, right? You put a trap here and put two over here, all of a sudden you just are given this turret. There's nothing they can do. And yes, you put down the sneaky trap, and I'm happy that you did that. That's a very important Caitlyn mechanic, and it's stupid how effective that is. You don't want to start with your ult. That's a weird decision. You could have auto attacked her. You could have auto attacked Braum too. But now you see, you could have finished this kill if you had auto attack, like your ult still. And that's what your ult is for, these kills. You don't start with your ult on Caitlyn. That's awkward. That's awkward too. Yeah. You played that really well with the trap. So you're pressuring here, right? You're trying to keep attention here, And I'm half okay with it, but half not. Because since your entire team is deciding to respond to this, right? You just need to wait for them. Because this is happening top lane, and if your team's not getting anything up here yet, they're getting something up there, but in like a minute maybe. The enemy team doesn't have any reason to respond to this for like a minute. This is pushing into your tower or stalled. Like it's fine right now. So the only thing their team cares about is looking for this kill. And now think about this. You have the numbers advantage in just 30 seconds. All you need to do is keep them here and keep yourself alive. And you're constantly pushing. That gives them the chance to get these fights. You've already been hit by a Lux snare. How easy would it be for you to die if you got hit by that again? Like earlier, let's look at this way back here. Where is it? So if from right here, right? This is where my example is of where you could die. And you should have expected Lux to be here. Lux, for some reason, walks away instead of walking up to snare you. But if Lux walked up to snare you, Garen could have walked around this trap and they could have killed you. Now, at this point in time, you didn't know for certain that your team was all going to respond bottom, but you're still pushing up. You see these 3 people here, and Lux has her cooldowns back. She didn't even use her snare to start with, right? And you're looking into these fights. So this is not a smart fight. And if Lux used her E here, which should have been off cooldown, you should have died. Like, even with Sona, I'm pretty sure that would have been enough. She would have had to have auto-attacked too. And Jinx has her ult, so if Jinx ulted that, yeah, that's really risky to have been pressuring that aggression right there. That aggression was not good. And then right here, you just need to wait for your team, which they don't have anything to get to you over there, and you have wards over here. So at this point, it's fine, actually. You just need to play this fight safe, because you're at half life. You look over late, which is good. You're positioning okay. Yeah, you did that okay. I think you come in a little bit too late, but it's not horrible. Don't ult here. You could have continued to auto. Traps are going to be your like bread and butter in these bush areas. You're not using your traps enough in those bush areas. Give yourself a safe place to kite back to. Everyone on their team is like melee or has to just straight walk to you. Put 2 traps here and they will always get stunned. I don't know how hard you are trying to push this, but you need to try and push this hard because your team's up here. And then you walk straight into that. That's not good. That's a really big problem with positioning. Your targeting is not good. Still need to work on that. So right here, you could auto the Braum, you could auto the Garen. And you're tunneling onto the Lux. You're not paying enough attention to your range. And again, your net, half of its effectiveness is the slow and the headshot. If you don't get that part off, you're not fully utilizing your net, and you always should be able to get that part of it off, because you shouldn't be in a position where they are on the side of you, like walking at you on the side, because that means you're out of position. Okay, so let's think right here. What are you guys going to get, right? You've got 2 of you with full health and 2 of you who are almost dead. Your jungler decided he's going to show up soon, but this is risky because these guys are going to be coming back soon, right? Right? Jinx is at least. I would be going to get something else. Leave this wave. This is just A-ramming bottom right now. Alright, they got a TP going top. Now you can actually look for this. Never mind. If they are TPing top. But be careful of this bush, because Lux. Okay, Lux is mid. If you're running away like this and you're not auto-attacking, you're just stalling your death, essentially. Yeah, see, they should be able to just walk up and kill you. They misplayed that too, okay? Maybe not. But if you're not auto-attacking while you're kiting back, do you see how low the Lux got? The Lux was half health. The Jinx almost died to minions. You could have probably even turned that fight if you were kiting it back. And now you're tunneling bot lane. So you see this is happening mid, and you know that potentially they're going to be pushing in your bottom lane too, but you're not going to get anything other than save the turret, right? Because you're not going to be able to push it all the way up to this. If you went mid, on the other hand, and you got a kill mid, or you cleared the waves mid, or whatever, you could get this turret. So you clear the wave, and now you're showing up. Okay. And you can't net over that wall. You're learning that the hard way, I guess. You got a huge wave top lane, so this is a really good fight to be looking for, or not necessarily like fight, but place to be, because this is going to push hard into this turret and it'll do a lot of damage. You could also have looked to rotate to this. Which I would be looking to do maybe since, besides, that would have been a bad spot to ult. You would have been in tower range and Jinx could have killed you. You're overstaying a little bit by yourself, but it's fine. You got the Sona now. And this wave was reset against you. So you guys are actually losing a lot right now with this ARAM strategy. You got this, which is like 4 waves bottom. Got this, which is like 3 waves top. And if you don't get this turret, like immediately, you're at a net disadvantage of a lot. And the kills are pretty even. So think about this gold. All this gold, that was probably like between 500 gold and like 1,000 gold right here. That's a kill. That's what your differential basically is. And you see, whenever you siege like this, you also... Okay, they misposition that terribly. Alright, well, it looks like you made it worthwhile. You got this tower immediately. I would be sending 1 person bottom for Garen and take 2 towers mid. Good. You have 2 trinkets, and you've had 2 trinkets for probably a while. I haven't been seeing you warding. While you're walking away here and going to base, you see what would have been a really good idea for you to do? Right over here. Ward this. Because what's going to happen as soon as they all respawn, they know you're basing, half the time they're going to rush Baron. The other half of the time they don't have anything really to do. But you see, the wave was up here, wave was up here, this wave they just pushed out, they responded with a turret, and now what are they can set up for this. They can bait it, they can get a free fight over here. And you know one way you can prevent that? One easy way you can prevent that is something in your inventory. It's in this last slot over here and it's free. You got 2 of them, and like your whole fucking team has 2 of them. So you need to start using those. Part of that fight could have been avoided if you had known where they were. Now you guys are just cowering next to your tower because you don't have any control over there. That was weird. Alright, well, good job. Since you're here, I would stay for this turret. Going to Baron here is a little bit risky because you know that their team is all alive. And I don't know if you guys swept it. Let's see if they swept it. No? Yeah, okay. So the only reason your team is deciding to do this, right, is because everyone just so happened to wander over here. This happens a lot. Your team just says like, oh, we're all here, let's try it. But you have no real advantage going on right now except that maybe someone's going to show up bottom lane, right? And if someone shows up bottom lane, then that's when you know you can do this. But right now you don't know that for certain. That's just a thought, an idea that they'll come bottom. And you see the Lux and you know the Garen's over here. But you know what? This is an objective that's smack in between those. So where are the rest of their team members? They were just in your jungler dead, right? They were over here. That was some of them. Right? So here was one of them. Their support was just in your jungle. So that makes me think this is probably warded, right? The Garen gets out in his full health because of his passive. They were all just over here. The only thing you had was that Jinx was dead for the start of this, right? That's the only thing you had. And you know how long this was going to take you guys to do? Probably like 10 to 15 seconds. So 10 to 15 seconds, Lux could walk over here. 10 to 15 seconds, their Ornn could still be the jungle, right? But you guys lucked out and they all were going bottom. This is a very risky call without having any vision. The only reason you guys were able to do this is the assumption that they were down here or going for dragon, right? That's not a safe assumption because they could have had this shit warded and turned on you guys. This is not a good trap line. You want this further up. This trap line being this far back isn't going to do anything for you. It's not going to help you siege. It's not going to give you somewhere to run to. And since your team's walking away, this is really risky to stay for. Walking over like this is pretty good though. If you're watching cooldowns, you know this is safe. You're tunneling onto the Lux. Lux's cooldowns are back up soon. You're tunneling onto the Garen. Yeah, you have pretty good problems with tunneling. So in team fights, targeting is a big issue of yours. Lane, you need to worry about making sure you still get those minions while playing aggressive. And 80% of your auto attacks, I said, were good, but 20% of them need work. You also, in lane, targeted the Braum a lot more than you should have. Probably like 4 of your auto attacks could have gone on Jinx whenever you targeted Braum. But I would say that's a lot smaller of a problem than tunneling later. So since those are kind of related but telling you opposite things, one of the advices is you could have attacked Jinx, and the second advice is don't tunnel. Focus more on not tunneling. If you're within range of someone, you can attack the squishier target, especially if they can attack you too, right? Jinx can attack you, then you can attack her. but do not tunnel onto her. So that's how you died, almost died over here. You blew your flash, and that's your positioning on over here was a little weird. It was okay because they positioned worse. The Jinx tunneled hard. Positioning for this fight, you could have gone in a little bit earlier, but it wasn't awful. Your rotations were okay, except for the time you spent A-ramming mid and how long you stayed bottom over here. Over here was not necessary. You guys ended up not getting this turret anyways, right? So that extra stall that you did here didn't do anything. And the A-ram mid was because those waves were going in, and you lucked out with getting a good fight there. But if they had been able to just stall it, they would have gotten more. Item build's totally a preference of mine. You don't have to follow that. You do disrespect ganks a lot. I probably would have started disrespecting them too with the way this Ornn was playing. He was never really going in on you guys. But a lot of your early to mid game, whenever you were walking towards the gank, that's really bold and unnecessary. Could have waited for your team. Then you also have the time you could have turned on the Jinx over here. So you're not thinking ahead. That's what that means. For team fights and stuff, you want to kind of plan what you're going to do. That's watching cooldowns, that's knowing threats, and that's moving away from threats to where is safe. So whenever you're thinking in your mind where is safe, you need to rethink that. Rethinking where is safe, because the turret over here means you're spending 8 to 10 seconds of walking through the enemy team. That doesn't make the turret safe. You see Trick 2G whenever someone's ganking him, sometimes he runs all the way into their fucking base and then around this way, right? That's because he knows that it's safer to do that than try and walk back to his turret through the enemy team. But I am noticing actually a lot of improvement from your earlier laning phase. Your laning phase now is a whole lot better, and you are rotating most of the time. Your top lane, when you were up here, that was really good, and I would have just taken the turret instead of the Baron, but it still was a good position to be in. You went bottom to catch one more wave than I would have, but it still ended up working out because your team was able to stall this, and that's the time you try to net over this wall. Okay, highlights to worry about for you. Trinkets, you're still not warding enough. You did buy a pink ward, but if you're looking around the map and then you're looking back in your inventory, it's still in your inventory, which means you're not using it. It's not anywhere on the map, and your map is dark. So vision is still a huge thing you need to work on. Aggression in lane, you need to tune it down slightly because your CS is more important. You're not paying enough attention to that window that I told you to look for. When you do not have minions to last hit, that's when you can look for aggression. But you got to still be smart with your aggression, which you were this time. You did pretty well with your aggression. It was nice, especially early. You disrespect ganks and roams a lot. From whenever you were staying over here, you knew the Lux was going to come, and you still stayed. From the times that Ornn left vision and you still pushed, I'm not sure how much of a problem that was. This game, as I said, they misplayed it more than you played it correctly, but you should be aware of that as a potential issue. Your positioning in fights, you're a little slow to come to some of them, but it works out okay. In others, I've never really noticed any of their threats get to you. So your positioning's fine. But lastly, trap lines you need to fix. Okay. So I'm going to finish your replay here, and I want to show you a normals game that I played earlier where I played as Vayne. And I did really well early, and I want to talk to you kind of about what I was doing. Whenever you say you still have problems playing Vayne, I want to just tell you that she's not a hard champion, but you need to be very aware of what you can do, what the enemy's cooldowns are, predict where they're going to be putting them, and going a little aggressive. So Obviously, I'm playing against someone that I'm much better than, but because again, a silver border versus diamond border, so there's going to be a skewed game here. Uh, but I just want to kind of show you things that I look for when playing a champion that's not known for their strong laning phase, right? So for starters, I know that they're probably going to look to invade or cheese, right? I always try and ward or stand here, and they do. They start looking in. See, this is what could have happened bottom. And if they had just, in your game, right, you were just sitting on this turret without vision, they could have just walked up here and taken a free buff. Walked in, like this. And we actually, I think we die here. No, they just walk out. They just warded. We died in a different game. So, note that I'm even going to show up to lane a little late, right? They have XP on me. They have 4 minions on me. 3 minions. 3 melee minions on me. So my first priority is to basically do what you were doing and spam push the wave. I'm spam pushing the wave because I know that we have a stronger lane than they do as long as we don't get too out-leveled. These two ranged champions versus a Thresh, which is kind of a hybrid melee range champion. But I also see there's nothing to last hit, so I look for that aggression, right? Even though they out-leveled me, do you see the positioning that these people were in? Watch for it, right? If your enemies separate and you have safe harassing, right? Because the Jhin walks up and the Thresh walks down. I can get into range of one without being in range of the other. That's when you look to harass. And you just wait for it to get to your turret after a point because they hit 2 and, you know, it's just not going to be fun to fight that. Nothing to last hit. I was looking to play up. So right here, right? I don't want to go in on the Thresh because Thresh just used all of his shit. If I'm to go in on this, I have to go in on the Jhin, right? But we end up just not taking this fight at all. A lot of the times I see, I'm not sure if it was you, but targeting going on to someone who just used all of their spells. So again, nothing to last hit, Thresh walking away. I see this as an opportunity for me to get some damage off. So I start chasing down the Jhin, but I don't want too much minion damage, so I start walking back. I was hoping he was just going to fight me for a bit. And again, I'm looking up because I'm within range of one, but not the other. Free damage, nothing to last hit. Now, if only I could last hit, right? And whenever Jhin was reloading, I looked to go aggressive onto him because, you know, his mechanic is he can't fight me. It's a window to trade. His ability is on cooldown. And then I chased him into his shit because something else, right? Why did I do that? Well, it's because if he wants to turn on me, my minions are here and his are over here. So his options are they go in on me, Thresh is low, Karma's back to full health, my minions are here. This is an advantage, right? Even though I take that crit, he has to reload now, and I get more damage on him. I take no minion aggro, Karma shielded me and sped me up, which is part of how I got that, but you got to set your supports up for those sort of plays. And I have vision for everyone on right now, so that's kind of cheating. But we knew that the Rengar started topside with the way the Thresh invaded. So I knew coming around now that we were probably going to get ganked. I assumed we would get ganked for 3 to 4.5 minutes because Rengar and where we were positioning, right? And I kind of wanted it. So in a similar way to the way you play things, you let them gank you, and then you look into it. But this is going to be an example of how you kite back on a gank and can turn it if you play correctly, right? Eventually. And again, this is a really obvious gank. The way the Thresh is hugging this wall to Lantern, really obvious. If you want to play Thresh and bait like this, this is a good threat to, oh, we're going to gank you. But it's a really obvious play that he's looking to gank us. I just don't care. So there's the gank. And here, watch this whole thing, right? I have actually their team's vision on, so let me fix that. Right? The entire time I'm walking away, every time my auto resets, I'm getting these auto attacks. And I'm turning even back in onto this, staying out of range of the brush, and then I see Rengar's way back there, so I'm like, oh, he doesn't want this fight anymore? Alright, we'll chase it. Do you see how this fight, they went in on us, and we're able to turn this for a kill? This is because you kite back while autoing, and that's what I'm talking about. Your net is so important. You have to use your net to get that headshot and that slow so you can do this. They ganked us, and we double killed them, right? They ganked us, and we double killed them. So watch this whole thing again, right? So targeting this guy because he's close. I'm out of range of the other two. And because of this, I force Jhin back. He can't look into me. He can't look into the Karma unless someone else is there. Do you see how he runs away? He's not doing damage to either of us right now. We're then able to turn on to the Rengar because that's the next damage threat, right? If the Jhin's not going to be here, it's the Rengar. And now the Rengar's half-life. Or not half-life, like almost dead. So he doesn't want to stay to that either. And admittedly, I could have flashed up and played this a little bit more aggressively, but I was trying to make sure I didn't die to the Rengar. I didn't know what he was going to do. And then as soon as I see him, I just go in, right? Kite back while auto-attacking. And admittedly, Vayne's excellent at doing that because she's got her... Again, since it's just Jhin, I was going to get some free damage on him, but I don't want too much minion aggro, and I don't want that fourth shot, so... So, I take another really weird fight here, and I want you to know I hit 6. I know they don't have sums, and I just hit 6. So, I knew they were going to be looking to play aggressive, and I was also very aware of my power spike, so I'm looking for them to go in on me. Ideally, I would have them dive me, but I got too close to the hook. Targeting, go in on their damage threat. And now it's a free kill, right? Be aware of your power spikes, and it's super easy. And also, I predicted Rengar to be up top because his camp was spawning, so I knew it was a really safe time to go aggressive. But I didn't want to stay here because I didn't know if Rengar was going to come back and just ult me or something. I was low, whatever. So here I overstep way too much, and I should have died here, honestly. I should have. And I'm not going to review the whole game, but that's what I wanted to kind of show you. That my moments of picking when to harass, my power spike of knowing when I could go aggressive and knowing the jungler was going to be up here, how to turn a gank whenever they were coming in, and I guess how to see a gank. anyways, that's all I kind of really wanted to show with that. All right, I hope some of this is going to be helpful for you.